Hello everyone, we are glad to have you back. The anticipated confrontation between Base and Mr. Sundown culminates in the Lawmen, Base Reeves series finale, signifying the conclusion of the Paramount Plus series. The storyline of Lawmen, Base Reeves shifted toward the legendary cannibalistic slave hunter Mr. Sundown in the second half of the season. Base had learned that Mr. Sundown was an old rival of S.L. Pierce. Base Reeves travels out to his expansive ranch in Fort Worth, Texas, with Deputy Marshal Cheryl Lynn and sidekick Billy Crow after successfully obtaining an arrest warrant for Pierce. When Base Reeves visits the property of Texas Ranger S.L. Pierce, he finds that slavery is still in place. Giving up his guns, Base says he was simply there to get paid for Jackson Cole, whom he had given to Pierce in exchange for the Texan political candidate's death. Inviting him inside, Pierce pays him twice what he owes and extends an invitation for a steak meal. It's odd that Base is the only one who eats during the meal, complaining about how bad the steak tastes. Later, right before Pierce exposes his scheme to catch and imprison Base, Base meets Jackson, who is obviously tortured, after Billy and Cheryl arrive to save the day. There is a shootout that leaves Pierce's side with numerous casualties. Base shoots Pierce dead after he tries to take Pistol, his horse, from Base. Right before Base murders him, Pierce, also known as Mr. Sundown, acknowledges that Base is stronger than him. Jackson Cole and all of Pierce's slaves are set free by Base and Billy receives a promotion to Deputy U.S. Marshal. Sadly, Cheryl Lynn, who contributed a great deal of firepower during the final gunfight, was fatally trapped in a bear trap and died soon after. Having attained his goal, Base feels proud of himself and goes back to his family in Van Buren. Knowing that S.L. Pierce operated under different norms, Base must exercise caution to avoid creating too much anxiety when he initially arrives at Pierce's ranch. Pierce, who appears as the devil on Base's shoulder in the second half of the show, turns out to be the cannibalistic slave catcher Mr. Sundown, about whom Ramsey had previously spoken. Pierce frequently uses drawn-out metaphors in his speech in an effort to refute Base Reeves's views on his character, his work, and his belief in God. Base restores his particular brand of justice, which is based on truth, honor, and moral goodness, by ultimately identifying Pierce as Mr. Sundown and executing him. The Lawmen, Base Reeves series finale seems to confirm the legends about the legendary Mr. Sundown being a cannibal. The fact that Pierce cooked Base a surprisingly bad steak suggests that Base may have been eating human flesh, which is the biggest clue leading to this conclusion. Pierce talks about how fear tenderizes meat while Base watches the tormented Jackson Cole being held captive while seated at the table. Pierce claims to Base that he runs a profitable beef production company. Therefore, it defies logic that the steak wouldn't taste well. Base is also informed by S.L. that, in his opinion, man is no more than the animals he hunts, and that the bodies of his captives are worth more than the boots he returns for payment. Throughout the series, Jessica Oyelowo's character Rachel Reeves, the wife of George, the former owner of Base, Jenny, and Esma's slaves, has a minor but noteworthy part. Regarding Jenny and a sick Sally, Rachel speaks in an oddly authoritative manner and won't listen to Jenny's pleas for her to leave the house. As Rachel begins to remark about how wonderful it will be when Jenny, Sally, and all of the Reeves children come back home, she is alluding to attempts by Texas lawmakers to legitimize slavery and reinstate Base and his family as slaves on the Reeves property. Jenny gives Rachel a slap and throws her out of her house since she knows her rights and liberties. Base Reeves takes money and a big rough diamond from S.L. Pierce's safe after killing him, in addition to offering Jackson some cash and supplies. He advises Jackson to take Pierce's former slaves to Kansas in search of better pastures. Billy Crow receives the diamond from Base, who instructs him to use it to wed Callista, the girl he first met in Checotah. After Cheryl Lynn was shot and killed on Pierce's property, Billy gives Base back Cheryl Lynn's Deputy U.S. Marshal badge. Billy is told to retain it by Reeves, who is implying that he would inform Judge Parker that Billy is deserving of the position of official Deputy U.S. Marshal. S.L.'s attempts to break Base's spirit throughout the episode form the core of the conflict in the Lawmen, Base Reeves' conclusion. S.L. personifies a classic version of the devil, as evidenced by the cunning and deceptive phrases he uses to fool Base into doubting his identity and the meaning of existence. At the conclusion of Lawmen, Base Reeves is finally allowed to take a break from his work because he knows that the devil he has been fighting both inside and externally has finally been laid to rest. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't